Still a couple of seconds out. So Sam Listy, our trusted city manager, is still in Italy. He sent pictures of himself having a fun time learning his native language of using his hands to talk. And so anyway, he's having a fun time in Sicily. No, Sicily, is that right? Yeah, Sicily. Yeah, Sicily. All right. Well, we will before we call this meeting to order, we're going to be start off with the pledges. The pledge to the U.S. flag is by Council Member Daniel Bucher. Mr. Rogers, Mike Rogers, will lead us in the Texas pledge, and then Wayne will give the invocation. Y'all will rise. Sorry. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. I, the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and thank you for the blessings that you bestowed upon us. We're especially grateful for the recent rain and looking forward to cooler weather. Thank you for the opportunity to live in a community where people are willing to give up their time and their efforts and their love and concern to make our community a better place for all. Help us and guide us as we move forward and make sometimes difficult decisions. Please keep our first responders under your careful watch and our military here at home and around the world. Forgive us when we fail thee. In Christ's name we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. All right, we will call this meeting to order for Tuesday, September 26th, 5:31. The first item on the agenda is public comments. I have two that have signed up. One of them, Thomas, you have signed up for something that is agenda 15, so you will wait. I don't know where Thomas is anyway. But on that agenda, you can speak then. But right now we will have Sergeant Wayne Cooley and Officer Jessica Minnick. Did I get it right? Minix. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a K. It is an X. Sorry. I can keep trying. I can tell the really bad ones.
All right, everybody can hear me okay?
Yes,
sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Wayne Cooley. This is Officer Jessica Minix. We're here tonight as the coordinators of this year's National Night Out event. It's going to be hosted next week on Tuesday. That's October 3rd of this year. Okay. We're here tonight because we wanted to extend our invitation to y'all, you guys specifically, and the council members, and of course everybody in our community, to come out to one of the 12 block parties that have been scheduled this year. They're going to be hosted all around town. You should have had at your seats tonight a list of those parties along with this year's t-shirt. We have a couple of those t-shirts here tonight for members of our audience. If anybody like one, just wave one of us down. If you guys have any questions about getting to those parties, just reach out to me or any of the members of the admin staff at Belton PD. We'll get you guys taken care of. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely look up one of those in your neighborhood. They're usually a lot of fun. All right. Do we have any other public comments other than those that are going to be on the agenda? All right. Next on the agenda are two proclamations. Ms. Casey gave me a pile of 14 of them, I think, and it's like, do I have to read all these anyway? So luckily for you, all I have to do is read two of them. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go with the first one. I'll read it, and then I guess I should come down there, and then I'll read the second one from the floor. So the first one, Belton Day, I do want to let you guys know it was an honor to be invited to a joint proclamation from the boards, both the joint boards of the Temple and Belton Independent School District. And so they read a proclamation together. It was really nice. I got a good picture of blue and red to see the two school districts working together. It's really an interesting time that we find. We kind of complain how our country is torn apart, yet it's nice to see how people are working together. So anyway, in that light, today is, well, I'll read the proclamation and not make stuff up. So, whereas almost everyone can name their favorite teacher that encouraged us to reach for the stars and who told us we could achieve our goals through hard work. And whereas the city of Belton recognizes the critical role of teachers in transforming lives by ensuring that our children have the tools they need to be successful in life. And whereas the pandemic revealed teachers are the engines at the heart of our education system, and without whom it is impossible to provide an equitable, quality education. And whereas one of the greatest gifts our schools can give children and teachers is time spent with one another, the daily opportunities to learn and grow together face to face, because there is no substitute for the wisdom between a student and a teacher. And whereas being a teacher provides the unique opportunity to make transformative and lasting impact on the lives of others. And so we celebrate World Teachers Day, as it has been celebrated around the globe on October 5th since 1994. And whereas we celebrate our teachers who enrich the lives of our community of students, now, therefore, I, David K. Lee, Mayor of the City of Belton, Texas, do hereby declare October 5th, 2023 as Belton Teachers Day in the city of Belton, and call upon the citizens to recognize the hard work and dedication of our teachers and administrative staff. So we are honored to have the administration from Belton School District, and I'll come down there with you, Matt.
Mayor, while you're doing that, I'd just like to go ahead and thank one of my former teachers, Wayne Carpenter, my high school government teacher, and also the principal at Leon Heights who hired my wife for her first teaching job. You've made a huge impact on my family's life.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to talk for this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. And another one, I'll turn around this way. So this one's near and dear to my heart. Several of you guys out there are good friends of mine, and manufacturing is a lot in my life and my father's life. And so my father was manufacturing engineer and spent a lot of my years in manufacturing. So today is Manufacturing Day. So here we go. I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas the city of Belton, Texas is promoting Manufacturing Day on October 6, 2023, and whereas Manufacturing Day was developed to improve public perception of manufacturing and is supported by thousands of manufacturers nationally as they host students, teachers, parents, job seekers, and other local community members at open houses, as well as digital and virtual events designed to showcase modern manufacturing technology and careers. And as it is a national celebration of modern manufacturing designed to inspire the next generation on how they can make a difference through manufacturing, give guidance on how to take first steps in starting a career in modern manufacturing, effectively communicate that manufacturers need the next generation, show students, parents, and educators the opportunities, creativity, possibility, and accomplishment that comes with a career in manufacturing. And whereas the manufacturing industry is a critical component of the state of Texas economy, with over 948,000 people directly employed and a real gross domestic product of $224 billion in the first quarter of 2023. Whereas the state of Texas and the city of Belton's economic growth depends on the education and vocation opportunities that align with manufacturers' skilled labor needs. And whereas modern manufacturing relies on implementation of innovative technology, provides competitive benefits to every employee, and thereby makes manufacturing a worthwhile career choice for all residents. And whereas the city of Belton, Texas supports and joins in the national effort to help America's manufacturers do what they do best, grow their business, create jobs, and ensure that their communities remain a vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Now, therefore, I, David Lee, Mayor of the City of Belton, do hereby proclaim October 6th as Manufacturing Day in the City of Belton. There we go. I became an engineer, so I didn't have to read and speak. And so it is great to have the school PTE represented here as well on this day. So we're going to, I guess, come on up, Cynthia, and I'll let you say a few things and then we'll hand these out.
Absolutely. Thank you thank you, Mayor and Council, for this proclamation and for the support of manufacturing in Belton always. We greatly appreciate your support on behalf of the Belton Economic Development Corporation and our manufacturers in Belton. As the proclamation mentioned, Manufacturing Day is a national initiative to help introduce our students to modern day manufacturing. And this is the fourth year, I believe, that the fifth year that we've had a registered event here in Belton. And that would not be possible without our partners at Belton ISD, Workforce Solutions of Central Texas, Temple College, and the Belton Area Chamber of Commerce. And of course, it would not be possible without our industries. And we have several in the room. And so I am happy to name all of our partners in industries, and they can come up for a Kodak moment if you would like that. Okay. So with Anna's help, I have the list here in front of me. And so Stratasys is with us today. And so as I mentioned your company name, maybe we can just come up here. Is that fine? Okay. 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 All right, great. So Stratasys, if our representatives could join us. Thank you. Heritage Foods. Beltec Industries. ECS. American Spincast. And then our partners that are here today, we have Temple College, Belton ISD, and Workforce Solutions of Central Texas, and the Belton Area Chamber of Commerce.
Y'all kind of congregate over toward this corner, we'll face that way and more Stratasys.
You know, there are pages.
And just to clarify, all industry representatives, if I named your company, please join us.
I've got right here. You can cut off. You come right over here. But I got everybody in this shot right there. Ready? Right here, 2, 3, smile all around. Thank you guys. Jeff.
So she's about
Yeah.
really excited about that.
Thank you. I know. We having board meetings.
there we go.
All
right.
Go Big Red.
If those. Next one. Should have probably sneaked down.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming.
Next item on the agenda is recognition of the receipt of the Silver Circle Award for the City County Education and Marketing Association. Mr. Romer, right here. Have at it.
All right. Mayor, council members, it's a pleasure. Each year, the 3CMA hosts the Savvy Awards to recognize best communications and marketing efforts nationwide for cities and counties. This year, Belton received its first ever award from the organization, a Silver Circle Award, which is second place for best single social media post. As you may recall, that's the post that highlighted Belton police officers taking an oath at Belton High School teacher in-service meeting to protect the lives of the innocent. Jurisdictions from 26 different states submitted 878 entries in 38 different categories. To even be a finalist is a significant accomplishment. So we were beaten out for first place by New Albany, Ohio, which saved the day for a couple who had accidentally booked a city facility in New Albany, Indiana for their wedding. And that one's worth looking at if you want to go online, but of course, this Silver Circle recognition's only possible because of Chief Ellis and his leadership team at Belton PD. Here's what one of the judges had to say about our entry. Everything about this is gut wrenching, but able to navigate a difficult situation with so much integrity, class, and dignity. Residents, families, and stakeholders of the city of Belton, Texas can take pride knowing their public service professionals have their constituents' best interest at heart at all times. Please join me in giving Chief Ellis and Belton PD a hand.
Thank you, guys. And I'm sure this will go somewhere on okay, please, okay, all right. I'll hold on to it to the end of the meeting.
I'd have to share joint custody of the board.
All right, whereas we finished the first items, we're going now to the consent agenda. I will read these items. If anyone on the council wishes to remove one for comment or more deliberation, please do so. First on the consent agenda, item 5 is consider minutes of the September 12th city council meeting. Item 6 is a reappointment to the SitCog Solid Waste Advisory Committee, recommending approval of Public Works Matt Bates. Consider an ordinance prescribing the classifications and number of police officers and firefighters part of our budget. Consider an ordinance is number 8 is consider an ordinance authorizing changes in assignment pay for the Belton Fire Department. Item 9 is consider resolution of support for the fiscal year 2024 Federal Defense Economic Adjustment Assistant Program, DEAAG grant proposed by the Heart of Texas Defense Alliance for the Fort Cavazos Railhead Energy Resilience Project. Item 10 is consider authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional service agreement with Casper, Patrick and Associates for design and bidding phase services for the East Central Avenue Bridge Replacement Project. Item 11 is consider purchase of vehicles and associated equipment as provided for in the Capital Equipment Replacement Fund for the following departments, both police and public works. Item 12 is consider authorizing the sole source purchase of and installation of 3 check valves by Municipal Valve and Equipment Company at the Loop 121 pump station. And that's it. Those
Mayor,
items.
The Solid Waste Advisory Committee,
Yes.
that would be Marcy of the Public Works Department.
Okay.
She's the
RCC.
program manager.
All right. Thank you for that. So, yep.
I move we approve agenda items 5 through 12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve these agenda items. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you for that correction. All right, item 13, moving into planning and zoning. Hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from commercial 1 with a specific use permit, C1 with SUP to commercial 2 district on approximately 2 acres located at 5005 West Highway 190 Service Road, south of Interstate 14, east of George Wilson Road and west of Dog Ridge Drive. All right, Ms. Tina.
That was a mouthful. Thank you,
That
Mr.
was
Mayor.
helpful. It's my day.
It is your day. Thank you. For the property is located on the south side of Interstate 14 at the intersection of Dog Ridge Road. Here's that frontage road and here is Dog Ridge Road. Here's a zoomed in look at the property. As you can see, it is developed with the Metal Mart building at the corner. The zoning for the property as stated is is commercial and SUP for outdoor storage for the property. The adjacent properties are commercial 1, agricultural, and also commercial 1 with an SUP for mini storage across the street. The future land use map identified this area as a commercial corridor. This property was annexed in November of 2004 and then was later zoned to the commercial 1 with an SUP in 2005. That allowed the current Metal Mart building to have outdoor storage. The applicant plans to construct a new automotive repair garage south of the existing Metal Mart. The major automotive repair, which requires general repairs, reconditioning of the engines, air conditioning system, which is only permitted in the commercial 2 zoning districts. The requested commercial 2 would allow for the development that the applicant is proposing. Other uses include commercial automotive sales for used and new cars, boat sales, car wash, furniture manufacturing, upholstery, carpentry, cabinets, painting, etc. Outdoor storage is allowed in the commercial 2 district, but must be screened when it's adjacent to a residential property. The property exceeds the minimum lot requirements is 2 acres. Even with the subdivision that we will review next, the lot is approximately an acre for each of the 2 lots. All other codes as far as setbacks will be reviewed when a new development project is proposed. This property is located in a Dog Ridge Water CCN. There's domestic water that's provided by Dog Ridge. Fire protection for new structures must comply with the adopted codes. This property is within the city of Belton sewer CCN. However, there is no service lines available at that area. Applicant currently has an on-site sewage facility for the Metal Martin building, but he must get approval from the Bell County Public Health Department for the new on-site sewage system for the new building. Notices were provided to property owners 200 feet of the property. We received 2 letters from the property owner. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the zoning change at their meeting on September 9th. Staff concurs with their recommendation. With that, the change will be to commercial 2 to allow for all the uses that's allowed in that district. The development of the site shall come through all the design standards, including site, landscaping, and tree preservation. A subdivision plat and building permit is required for the development. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Also, the property owner, Mr. Jim Robinson, is also here should you have any questions for him as well.
Thank you. We will close council deliberation and open a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak in favor or oppose this item, this is the time to speak. All right. There being no comments, so we'll close the public hearing and reconvene with the council deliberation. Any comments, questions, or a motion?
Seems like a great project, an expansion of what's going on there already, and I would move that we approve item 13 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the zoning change as presented. Any other comments or there being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, item 14. Consider a final plat for Metal Mart number 59 comprising 2 acres located at 5005 West US 190 that we just talked about. I won't read all that again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, the property is located in the same area, and what is being proposed is the separation of the 2 lots, the Metal Mart lot and the new development that's going to be south of that. Again, this area is in the Dog Ridge CCN, so they have domestic water, but would need to accommodate for fire protection. Sewer is inside the city CCN. However, we don't have any services over there. They must get approval from the Bell County Health District for the subdivision plat. Access to the site is currently provided off of the frontage road, Interstate 14 frontage road. With the new proposed building, access will be from Dog Ridge Road. For street and sidewalk, Interstate 14 is on the north side of the site and is a TxDOT facility. With the review of the plats, TxDOT required a 1-foot non-access easement along the frontage road, and that's to prevent any other access from happening on that frontage road. For Dog Ridge Road is identified as a local street in our thoroughfare plan map, requires 50 feet of right of way. The plat did not really clarify the width of the right of way. That made it to be 30 to 35 feet wide. And we do anticipate a dedication that's required of 7.5 feet to 10 feet to achieve that 50-foot minimum right-of-way requirement. Dog Ridge is a narrow substandard road without curb and gutter. It was developed in the county, and this portion of Dog Ridge extends from George Wilson Road east to where this intersection is. And here's just a look at the right-of-way. It gets really narrow at the bottom and 30 at the top of that right-of-way. Again, for streets, our subdivision code requires that when a development is adjacent to a substandard road, the applicant constructs that to meet our current requirements. With that, that would be half of the right of way, curb and gutter. That includes design and construction of that right of way. The applicant is requesting, actually, our Public Works evaluated the street and determined that an overlay treatment would benefit that street as opposed to constructing of that. So they provide an estimate of $11,700 to do that overlay treatment. A 6-foot sidewalk is also required along the interstate frontage road as part of our adopted master plan. The applicant is requesting a variance for the right-of-way, the perimeter road, and the sidewalk improvements. The letter was attached with your packet. Drainage was reviewed for the site. A more detailed review will be completed when the construction plans are submitted in for the second additional hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard this at their meeting on the 19th. They recommended approval of the plat. They recommended a disapproval for the variance for the right-of-way requirement, so that is still required. However, they approved the variance for the perimeter street improvement and for the sidewalk requirements. So I will be happy to answer any questions you have. The applicant is here and he will be happy to answer any question that you have as well.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Tina?
So the overlay is okay, but gutter, we're fine with the overlay of the street for the improvement.
That was what was recommended by Public Works.
Okay. And I guess the only other question I had was about sidewalk and concern over sidewalk on an access road or that close to the interstate. And sidewalk to where, I guess, would be my other question that we've had before and deliberated. Somebody always has to be the first, but it's difficult sometimes to support that.
That's why we also provide the option of the escrow account. So when there is development, we can also incorporate that as well.
How long is the escrow account?
7 years.
Because I find this guy really hate holding somebody's money for 7 years.
I,
Hoping that something's gonna go in.
I know from my days in P and Z, we run into sidewalk to where issues several times. And when you're in close proximity to substantial development that's going on, it's kind of a bummer to be the guy that goes first there, but it's good and necessary. But this is pretty far from the walking foot traffic, I think. So I think this is something that we can approve a variance for sidewalk requirements without setting a
Precedent.
dangerous precedent. I do think it's important to have the right of way for when the properties around it do develop. There's going to be a need to deal with water runoff and, you know, whatever else. And this is the time. I don't foresee any development happening now where we're going to have to put in gutters or anything like that. But this is the time where we make sure we've got enough space to deal with water and deal with traffic and things like that whenever that property does develop down the road, which I would anticipate to be a decade or more from now, as far out as that is. Yeah, I think we need to secure the right of way, but I'm okay with the rest of it.
I am too.
Variance.
I just had a question on the subdivision. Would the change to commercial 2 not allow him to build a second building on the current property without subdividing?
Well, because of the separations, we want to make sure that we have it separated accurately. So we have the correct property lines to make sure it meets the setback requirements. He could have kept it as commercial 1. However, the use is only permitted in commercial 2, hence why the zoning was recommended.
Because I was just, I mean, if there was a way to satisfy it with just keeping it one lot, if it ever sold off later as subdivided, then you could capture sidewalk or shouldn't permit that, but.
I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item 14 with disapproval of the variance for the right of way requirements. And approval of the variance for the perimeter street improvements, approval of the variance for the sidewalk requirements.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? I'll just add my voice to the sidewalks to where I think it's really important to have sidewalks in high traffic areas. And I can think of, you know, as we get, you know, even on 14, as you get close to the elementary schools, it's really important there on Wheat Road and Digby and those kind of areas to have sidewalks. This is pretty far out. Also with 14 potential designation change and continue linking 14 east to west, that area will probably be TxDOT. They would probably be the ones to approve and construct those sidewalks, similar to what we've seen on 35. So for us to hold the money, I think it's probably somebody else would probably end up paying for that. So Any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, item 15, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from retail to planned development retail district on approximately 0.57 acres located at 1507 Holland Road on the south side of Holland Road and the west of East Loop 121. Tina.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here is the location of the property on that south side of Holland Road and west of East Loop 121.
That's easy to say. West of East.
Right. Here's a zoomed in look at the property. As you can see, it's currently vacant. The zoning of the property is retail and this is part of the original city, and I could not find a zoning change. The only one that I could find was back in 71 for the light industrial. That was changed from retail to light industrial. So I'm guessing it was originally retail. But all the other uses are also commercial along that corridor. The future land use map identifies this general area for commercial development, which is appropriate for smaller scale commercial centers. Again, this was original city limits and zone retail. The applicant is planning to construct a retail center with 2 tenant spaces for medical and other possible retail uses. The planned development zoning is requested because of a side yard setback reduction for their irregular shaped lot. Here is the plans that were submitted for this application. The conceptual plan proposes a 4,127 square foot medical retail development and it has adequate parking and circulation. One access is proposed off of Holland Road. That is a TxDOT roadway and that access would need to be approved by TxDOT. A 5-foot sidewalk is shown on the plan as required with the plat that will be submitted in the future. They're proposing detention basin and dumpster at the southeast corner of the lot, and landscaping has been accommodated. The property south of this location is developed as a single-family detached structure. They're proposing landscaping to act as a buffer for that adjacent property. The proposed use that's in the conceptual plan is allowed in the retail district. Setbacks, the property exceeds the minimum requirements and the setbacks are within reason except for the request for that 10-foot, that's 10-foot side yard setback instead of the 25 that is required. This property is located within the city of Belton Water CCN. There's domestic and fire protection available. This property is inside the sewer CCN. The nearest line is south of this lot. The applicant plans to extend an 8-inch line to connect to that existing line. A subdivision plat and construction plans are required for the offsite improvements necessary for that connection. Notices were provided to property owners within 200 feet of the property, received no letters of support or opposition for the zoning change. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this item. For the zoning change from retail to planned development, the use of the property shall conform to the retail district. A 10-foot side yard setback is allowed. Development must comply with the design standards. A subdivision plat building permit is required. Sign standards shall conform to adopted ordinance. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And the representative, Anthony Luke, is here should you have any questions for him.
Thank you, Ms. Tina. Before we deliberate, I'd like to close the council deliberation and open a public hearing on this item. If anybody wishes to speak for or against this item, Thomas, I had signed up, and so if anyone else, but go ahead, Thomas, this is your time. Name and address for the record.
All right, Thomas Agers is my name. I've got the property. It's adjacent to it, it's 1503. I live at 1717 Liberty Hill, different address. So on that deal, they're asking to run a sewage line along the side of the property, which is 8 feet by probably 100. And I got a small trucking company and I kind of use that space to drive in and out of my shop. I'm kind of a little bit more concerned with the fact that I'm not exactly sure, but when you run a sewage line, you don't really curve it, you run it straight to the manhole, right? And that manhole is not 8 feet from the fence line, it's more like 30 or 40. So they're gonna kick across all the way across my property, not just 8-foot line if they do it that way. Right, so, and then also at the front, right there in the corner where they got the two trees. Right on the other side of that, that's my entrance and exit. And if you put two big trees right there, I might not have a good visibility on how to get in and out of there. But those are my only two concerns.
Okay.
When I first bought the property, y'all had a pump station that was removed, and I gave a third of my acre on the other side, so I'm all about development. So I'm not really against it, I'm just concerned with my operations.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Tina, is there an easement for the sewer? As he's saying is,
Not currently. The applicant would need to secure that as part of the subdivision plat review.
okay. Right, yeah, so the process is, so we're gonna change the zoning first, and then we'd have to go to the subdivision, and that's whenever we would have to start looking at easements for anything to do with drainage or water or sewer.
Okay.
That would be, these are just conceptual right now.
Yeah, I don't exactly know how it works. I just seen it on the plan where it was
Okay.
going across.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make y'all aware of it.
Glad you're here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon.
Okay, cool.
The applicant will more than likely be in touch with you since you're the adjacent property owner to try to secure that easement from you to
Okay.
see about that development.
That's
So
this
you
guy
could be
here.
able to
Talk
negotiate
about
with
it.
them at that time. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, any other comments for or against this item on the? All right, there being no other public comments, we will close the public hearing and reconvene the council deliberation. If you guys have any questions or comments or would like to make a motion.
I know we're just in the zoning stage, but Tina, are we good with runoff and drainage? I know there was a issue with property a little further up and over a field and that had some runoff coming through the area. We did some retention pond work, I think, but I just want to make sure that whatever requirement we have for this property, that it's adequate and gonna hold the water that it needs to. And I just remember hearing about some flooding in that area and want to make sure that we're covered.
We haven't gotten to that portion yet. We're just considering the zoning, but the will need to be reviewed by KPA for that drainage to make sure that we have the pre and post cap that it's handled appropriately.
They've got on the site plan, they've got a detention pond on there, so
Mhm.
I saw that.
ought to be on their mind anyway.
Yes.
Matt's nodding his head, so I think we're good. So with Matt nod, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve agenda item number 15.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item 15, which is a zoning change from retail to planned development retail on this property. With the motion and second, any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Also passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Thomas. All right, last item on the agenda, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from agricultural to light industrial district on approximately 0.625 acres located at 1001 South Wheat Road, described as rustic oaks, block 1, lot 28, north of Interstate 14 and south of Digby Drive. Ms. Tina.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, here's the location of the property north of 14 and on the east side of Wheat. Here's a zoomed in look. As you can see, it's vacant, is adjacent to a single family detached home, and across the street is Chisholm Elementary School. Here is the current zoning. It's agricultural, so are the surrounding properties. It's a property to the east that is already zoned light industrial. The future land use map identified this area for industrial land development. All right. The Belton Economic Corporation received a offer to purchase 5.6 acres of property at the business park. This is just a portion of that property. Most of that property is already zoned light industrial, and this is just to get that remaining 6.6 acres to zone to industrial. They're planning on an expansion of 2 businesses in Belton, be home to a branch office, warehouse for an AC company, and also a hardware distribution company. The proposed land use, light industrial land use would allow for the proposed uses as an office, warehouse, distribution center, and other uses in the LI district. With the combined property adjacent, the lot would be 5.6 acres, which exceeds our minimum requirements for LI, actually already does at 0.6 acres. All proposed new developments will need to be reviewed for compliance with our requirements. This is in a Dogridge CCN actually. However, Most of the property is in the city of Belton, where the light industrial is already in the city of Belton, CCN. But there is Belton fire, protection available in this area. Line was extended, across the street to, Chisholm Elementary School, so there is fire protection area. This is in the city of Belton sewer CCN. There is sewer lines for service connection. Notices were sent out to property owners within 200 feet. We received one letter of support from the adjacent residential property owner. With that, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this at their meeting on the 19th and recommended approval of the requested zoning change. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, and Cynthia is also here, should you have any questions for her as well.
All right, any, oh, wait. We'll close the council deliberation right now and open a public hearing. Anyone wishes to speak or against this item, please make your way to the microphone. There being no public comments, we will close the public hearing and reconvene council for deliberation. What say you?
Exciting to me. Should I make a motion to approve item number 16 as presented?
I heard it, motion in a second. She did.
That's a motion.
I heard it in stereo.
John.
John. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the zoning 0.625 acres. Any other comments or questions? I do have one. If you could show the two pictures, one like go left one or back one. You had the overview and it shows the school there.
Mhm.
And so across the street's the school. Now go to where it shows the zoning in the different colors, like the reds and the all in the greens and all that stuff. It shows the schools in an ag zoning. Yet when we approved that, we worked with them on sidewalks and all of that plat. How did that not get changed? Because we went through that before to change that.
I cannot find record of a zoning change.
We probably need to do that because that was changed. We went through zoning, we platted it. We discussed sidewalks, all that. So anyway, it's a tangent, but it's there. So I think that's something we probably need to clean up.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll dig into that some more.
That's good.
A lot of green and gold up there. Sorry. Like that. All right. So we have a motion and a second. No, any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. We stand adjourned at 6:12 Tuesday, September 26th.
Color chart up there. What the heck? Why you know?